Om Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, brother.
Om Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Welcome to Quantum Ascension, 7:30 IST. Today is day 2 of the Mayan calendar New Year. Mayan calendar is very incredible. Yeah? The effects of the planetary positions is recorded in the Mayan calendar. And they are so advanced that they can document every age until the end, which was the end of Mayan calendar, the larger cycle. The ending was 2012, December 21. And this year, the same dates, 21st December, is also a very, very important day. This is they call it the event, the event. And this is a very big shift. This is the end, really like end of a huge cycle. And officially we are in the Aquarius age. We are already in, but it's not that full swing yet. Our subtle body is still left here and there. So it's not fully integrated yet. We are in the process of transition. So incredible potentiality right now. We can swing any way. We can go up, can go down, can go left, can go right, very easily. Just slight tilt. It's totally different world. Okay. All right. Today, I think 2 minutes before or 3 minutes, Swami gave the topic for today, divine relationship. Wow, what a topic. All of us have been through many types of relationships, all kinds, brothers, sisters, lovers, parents, children, grandchildren, friends, enemies, all types of relationship we have gone through. Yeah? Some we are very well versed, some we are not so well versed. Some relationships we succeed to even reach God. Some relationships went down under and brought us to a horror movie. So you have all types of experiences with your relationships, right? We got all types of relationships. And some are beautiful, some are good, some are peaceful ending, some are not so peaceful ending, some are hostile, some you have to run away when you see them. So is there anything wrong with that, all these relationships? If you see it from an emotional point of view or a linear mind point of view, there are a lot of things we can improve, isn't it? Your emotions, you feel that I don't want to feel that way with that person. Or I love to feel that way with that person, but that person doesn't want to. So you have a lot of wishes for your relationship, isn't it? I want my relationship to be like this. I wish that it could have been like this. Why should it be like that? So many comments about your relationships, isn't it? If you were to think back, of course, there are those which you think is perfect as it is. So the key word is as it is. That's the key word. As it is, accept it as it is. All relationships, see it as it is. Don't need to wish, comment, judge, push, pull. Don't need to do any of that. Just see it as it is. When you see all your relationships as it is, something very great happens. The more you see it as it is, the more your consciousness will kick in. The more conscious you become. And you become more and more aware of a great phenomena. You know what you'll be aware? You start seeing that all your relationships, somehow, there's an integration happening. It's connected. There's some connection. And the more you see it as it is, the more you will see the truth behind. Because behind is not, why is it untruth? When do you see untruth? When you see it as the other. When you see it as separation, it's untruth actually, it's not truth. It's Maya, it's an illusion. But because we didn't see it as it is, we see it as emotions, we see it as characteristics, we see it as another individual, we see it as a threat, we see it as love, so many versions. Yeah? But you need to look at it long enough because you start disintegrating if you look at it long enough. Yeah? You start seeing the layers being peeled off. Yeah? Layers of emotions, anger peeled off, jealousy peeled off, envy peeled off, ego peeled off. What happens? After all the peeling, what happens? If you see it as it is, you start seeing elements. Yeah, we are all elements, isn't it? We are the 5 elements combined together and created this body. And in this element, there is something very unique, very powerful. Swami calls it the Atma. Some call it the soul. Some call it God. Some call it consciousness. Some call it the Great Spirit. Okay, so we have gone through all kinds of relationships in this world, and many of us also have been experiencing Divine relationships. Okay, now let's talk about divine relationships. What is divine relationships? Divine relationship means relationship with divine. Because relationship, you need two persons, right? You need one and the other person. So they need to be separation, they need to be two. So divine relationship is relationship with the divine. Okay? Now, how many of you have divine relationships? I would say all of you have divine relationships. All of you do. But it's whether conscious or unconscious. This conscious unconscious game, it's as it is actually. It's everywhere. So divine relationships, are you conscious you are having divine relationships or you're unconscious? Okay, let's cover the unconscious first. I'm sure many of you have been to a temple or a holy place or someone whom you have bowed down before as you feel that they somehow represent God. Yeah. The moment you do that is already relationship. If you've gone to a temple, you pray, that's a relationship because you are praying, you are coming as a devotee. You're praying. Or you're coming as someone who needs help. You are seeking help. So there's a relationship going on, right? Now, if you're coming to a temple, obviously, you consider that entity as God, as someone higher, great spirit, right? So we start bowing down and we pray. That's a divine relationship already. Yeah. And what happens after that, it can be unconscious. I'm talking about those who are having this unconsciously, okay? For example, you go and pray and you have a pain in your heart. You didn't even say it out, you pray, and God already knows that you have a pain in the heart. And you think God would sit down there and do nothing? God is unconditional, always radiating light. It's like a sun. It's constantly shining. Right? If we bow down, the light fall upon us. Somehow some healing takes place. Now when the healing takes place, are you conscious of it? Or you are unconscious? You might not be conscious. You might even forget that you have a pain in the heart after that. Right? So a lot of things happens even after you leave the temple. God is there to grace you. God is there to love you. God is there to guide you even in things you never asked. And when you come back or you think of Him when you are taking the bus, you remember Him. He remembers you. The moment you remember Him, He remembers you. I mean, it's not that He doesn't remember you, He remembers you, but there is a contact, there's a click, there is a spark. This spark can turn into divine romance. This love for the Lord and the Lord's love for you. is divine romance. That's a relationship, divine relationship. That love which always there for you. And many times, this is what happened in Trey Brindavan in 1996. I was there, and I was gifted to be allowed to sit very near to Swami during Trey session. Trey Brindavan is where Swami sits on a jula, very beautiful with the students. And our dear Vijay Sai gave a speech, beautiful, how he speaks, with great poem and singing, and at the end, great prayer to Swami. Swami, whatever happens to us, don't let us go. And he's trying to continue. Swami stopped the speech. He stood up and he told the boys, I will never leave all of you. Only you will leave me. All of us broke down in tears. Then we turned the prayer around. Swami, even if we leave, please never leave us and bring us back to you so that we are conscious with you. And we are always with you. And this is part of the prayer. I feel this is where the co-creation comes in. Yeah? This is also an answer to a lot of prayers, that we become conscious of God and never leave God anymore. And we have Him always with us, consciously. Yeah. So I feel this entire shift of the new age coming in is really the result of a great divine romance, actually. Yeah. So we are now in the process of becoming conscious of the divine relationships that all of us have. Conscious. For example, this platform. This platform is a result of divine relationship. All of you have a divine relationship. Many of you are here because of Swami only. Nothing else. Not that the topic is nice, but the main attraction is Swami, right? So that's a divine relationship. You want to know more about Swami, different dimensions of Swami. Wow, Swami is here to grace us, and just to listen to his stories. It's like Bhagavatam. We enjoy so much, right? So we are here to listen. So is it a topic? Okay, if the topic has got to do with him, all the more better. Okay. Divine relationships. We have to be conscious of it more and more. We are having it. We are having this divine relationship. Yeah. And it's very good to be conscious of it, because we can do our part of nurturing it also. Yeah, Swami has been nurturing it, but we also have to become consciously nurturing it. How do you nurture a divine relationships? Same as how you nurture a relationship in the world, how you take care of each other's feelings, how you are sensitive to Swami or sensitive to your relationship, right? Same way, apply on the divine relationship. I tell you, you really enjoy this if you do this. Because Swami is He's a great lover. He's a great friend. He's a great parent. He's divine. So you start seeing the divinity of a relationship actually. It's the other way around now. After a while, your relationship, your concept of relationship, your energy of relationship, all of a sudden became infused with divinity. And we start understanding relationship as itself is divine. Relationship itself is divine. Wow, something great happens when you see that. When you see relationships are divine, all your other relationships become divine. How is that? It is the power of divinity. The power of having a relationship with divinity. It infuses your karma of relationships. It changes all the misalignment of relationship. It corrects it. Just because you have a relationship with divinity, it has sanctified everything. It has the power of sanctification. It has the power of purification. It has the power to remove darkness. It's a very great thing to have divine relationship. And we are very gifted that we have this kind of experiences in this life. Yeah, really. Before, you know, you need to climb the Himalayas to find a guru. You have to starve and walk I don't know how many days. You have to sit like a rishi maybe. Now guru energy is coming big time. You can click on YouTube and you got it. Of course, not all is guru lah, but there are gurus who come through YouTube. I mean, now it's come to this stage where the ascension is so fast, even God is coming in. So it is infusion. Divine energy is coming in big way, very big way. Nurture this divine relationship. Nurture it. How do you nurture it? Same way how you nurture a worldly relationship. Involve divinity in your life. Every moment. You can have lunch with divinity. You can go to the park with divinity. You can go watch a movie with divinity. You can have tea with divinity. Don't separate. That's why Swami say, only you will lead me, I will lead you. It's because our mind is too, is always running out somewhere else. That's why Swami called monkey mind. Always jumping. It's not steady. How to be steady? It's very difficult to be steady. The best thing to do, create a pole and let the monkey climb up and down the pole when it's not used. I'm sure you all heard that story before. The king who wanted a being who can do anything. Is it a king or somebody? So this genie said, okay, I'll create one for you. It's a monkey, he can do anything in this world, but don't let him be idle. If he's idle, you're going to be killed. So that person say, oh man, there's so many things to do in this world. There's no end to it, so no problem, send him over. So the monkey came. One day, created skyscrapers. Another day, he created the kingdoms. Third day, he created all the artificial intelligence. Created everything. And that person got so scared now, he got nothing else for him to do. What should he do? He went to look for a genie. And the genie said, very simple, when he's not doing anything, just put him on the pole, up and down. So what's the moral of the story? The monkey is the mind. The pole is Namasmarana. Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram. Monkey is the mind. When the mind is when the mind is idle, it can kill you. It can enslave you. You become the slave of the mind. You have to work for the mind. How is that? So Swami said, no, you are the master. Master of the mind. Be the master. Don't follow the mind. When the mind nothing to do Namasmarana. Then you are able to manifest mastery. This is part of ascension. This is the part which I was discussing with Sister Vladka also and the rest. This is this entire group that's somehow turned into a craft. And with the craft, we can achieve so much. And I feel that since we have the craft, why not we go for the highest? Which is the highest? Yes, God consciousness is the highest. You yourself is God. But there's one more thing which is very necessary to be qualified a God, which is mastery. We need to be the master. You cannot be enslaved by the mind and say, I'm God. Yes, you are God, but a bit honored by the mind. So we need to get you out. So be the master of the body, be the master of the mind, be the master. Then it's qualified as Godhood. With this monad, with this craft, you can do it. Because this oneness is no longer, we are no longer talking about individual here. Individual is there, but you adjust itself. The energy will correct itself. Yeah? The main thing is the group's progress. The group's progress will be your progress. This is how it works for monad. So energetically, we are all already connected. Yeah, we are very, we are connected energetically. Okay, so be open to this oneness. Monad is just one of it. This is a very concrete one. This is one which is very obvious because we are gathering in Zoom and we're gathering in the WhatsApp, right? In that particular group. So it's considered crystallized. It's considered very compact. Really. Your larger monad, there's also all around. So there's many layers of monads. Okay. All right. Divine relationships. Now, the entire monad has a divine relationship. We are using the Sai craft. How do you think Swami sent a craft for us? And we are openly, recognizing him and seeing him in the craft, and we are also aware, and we say Om Sai Ram every time we meet, and we say Om Sai Ram when we leave. This is already his presence is already there. This is considered his presence. It's not possible without his will, his grace, his presence, his guidance, his love. So he's very much present with the monad and the entire craft. And this is already a divine relationship. So we are having a very divine experiences. It's good to recognize all of this, because the more you recognize, the more you are able to tap on into the energies of divinity itself. This is just like Namasmarana, Om Sai Ram. Initially, it just sounds like 3 words, right? But if you go deeper, Om Sai Ram, there's an energy in it. I'm sure you all recognize that. Om Sai Ram. Otherwise, why you keep saying it? Because when you say you feel good, you feel there's some kind of energy in it, Om Sai Ram. And you can go on chanting Om Sai Ram the whole day. You feel elevated, you feel bliss, you feel happy, you feel connected, you feel peace. So these are all energies, right? And the more you go in, Om Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, you start, there's light in it. There's a light actually. Try Kiran photography, Om Sai Ram, and see whether there's a light. There's an aura inside. Same as many other mantras, Gayatri mantra is full of light, illumination. Some of those gurus like to wear, with Gayatri mantra written all across the shirt, the dress. It's got light. So in the same way, divinity itself has light. That word itself is light. So if we were to be having divine relationship as a monad, the entire monad is illuminated, has light if you say divine. Remember I was saying that, divinity will integrate with relationship and you become it. You become one with divinity. A relationship is there ultimately so that we can become one. That's how relationships are. As they progress, you become one with the other person. So divinity, divine relationship will become you. You become divine after a while. Show me your company, I show you who you are. Your company is divine, you are divine. More and more. And how beautiful it is if all of us be established in divinity consciously. And we interact with everyone else around the world with that relationship. What happens? Divinity spreads. Divinity starts touching the others. Divinity, the light of divinity become more and more. And it's not only us doing it. There's so many others doing it the same thing. Gurus are saying, many religious scriptures are saying the same thing. Those who have studied very deeply into the scriptures, they would discover that that's the one. Otherwise, you won't be able to see so much of this. Even in Facebook now, it's coming divine. You are divine. You are God. It's coming from people who have no connection with any religious establishments. How is that? It's because we have progressed together, all of us, to this stage where we start recognizing this divinity and to just openly talk about it and to be one with this energy, this entire phenomena, divine phenomena. It's happening. It's happening all over the world. People are becoming conscious of this energy and manifestation. The fifth dimension is divine. Very much. Fifth dimension, if you look from the seventh dimension point of view, you will see that it's fully illuminated. If you're from the third dimension trying to be the fifth dimension, then you might not see it. You might still look like third dimensionish because we are still progressing, right? So we are still not familiar with the fifth dimension. But if you have gone to the seventh dimension and you look down, it's fully illuminated, fifth dimension, full of light, divine light actually. Yeah. And congratulations to all of you, seventh dimension, you all also can reach. All of you can reach. I am consciousness is seventh dimension. I am I is seventh dimension. I am one, I am that is seventh dimension. It's an experience, it's a oneness. When you stay, if the longer you can stay in that I am consciousness, the longer it is for seventh dimension for you. Yeah? If you can stay half an hour in I am consciousness, I bet you start seeing the fifth dimension. You start seeing, wow, things look different. Yeah, half an hour is enough. Half an hour in I am consciousness means a lot of things. It means you're not reacting for half an hour. You're not jumping with the mind for half an hour. You're not lost in the mind for half an hour. You're not lost in unconsciousness for half an hour. You're in consciousness. You are, if the mind comes in, you are not reacting to it. You are just seeing as it is for half an hour. Okay, that half an hour has finished a lot of job. Have cleared a lot of karma for you. Just half an hour in I am consciousness. And it's not easy because the mind will come with a vengeance to pull you out. The mind will freak out. The mind will say, hey, come on, don't sit there. Because why? If half an hour you can be in I am consciousness, that means death of the mind for half an hour. And if the mind is very alive, it's very, it's a threat to the mind. So the mind will always try to distract you, try to pull you out. But anyway, these are all for you to experience. You can always try it out and gain your experience of all these things. Yeah. Okay, now we'll just have a short break here to ask if anyone have any questions or any sharings or comments. Just see relationship. Okay. Oh. I remember in Darshan Puttaparthi 1990s, I had front row. Swami stood in front of me and my heart flipped. I felt like I had a 16-year-old. I was infatuated with first love, and I knew Swami was my beloved. Wow, so sweet. Thanks for sharing that. Swami is incredible. Why so many people, when they see Swami, they fell in love with him, and they move to tears, and something open up within them, because he is so. The unconditional love is constant. It's like the sun radiating and radiating, and he is in bliss. And it's so unconditional. It's just shining through. Now, it's wonderful to know that our Lord is so unconditional. But I have been quite close to him. He is a taskmaster. When he wants something done, he moved the mountains. Yeah. We are very scared sometimes of doing a wrong thing. Even his eye movement, where he looks, his expression, we are all very in tune. The wave of his hand, all of us know what it means. I don't know, no one trained us in this, but that energy is like that. When we go close to him, we become one with him. It's unavoidable. This thing is, it just happens. So all we do is just look at Swami. In Sai Kulwan, inside there's a mandir, right? And you know that Swami, he goes out darshan and there'll be bhajans and there's events and all. Swami sits and there's a lot of activities. But there are times with Swami, he comes inside to the mandir and he sits. And in those moments, sometimes there's no programs going on outside. Okay, so that means there's no sound at all. Okay, once he goes inside, the darshan music was off, so there's no sound. And he sits on the chair, and he does nothing. He'll be just sitting and looking. And all of us will be looking at him. Pin drop silence, and it can last to half an hour. What do you think happened there? In those moments, there's no thoughts at all. We are looking at him, he's looking at us. Those are very intense moments, because it's just one. There's no second there. It's just like that. I really treasure those moments because I realize that that's meditation. Just oneness with the Lord. And I think that's divine relationship. Yeah? And all of us, if you were to really sit with Swami in your altar room, or even in the park, or even while you're driving, and you just being one with him and feel his presence continuously, that's the same I learned it. I learned it that this is the way. And so I apply it as many places as possible. Even though when I'm on the bike speeding, because Swami doesn't like that. So I start losing it, and I'll come back right slowly. So he has his ways of being one with us. And he has told us already we are one. So we are the one learning to adjust to him and to being one with him. Yes. Okay. Now, any sharings, questions, comments?
Only gratitude, brother Julius, that you constantly talk about Swami, Swami, that's my world. That's enough for me. I don't need anything else. Thank you. Reassuring. So that always beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you to you too. Because Swami knows that there are people here who treasures that so much. And, so he has his ways of connecting to these people. So I'm also gifted to be able to experience this, your relationship with Swami. This is another thing which I feel so incredible actually. Sometimes I get to be somewhat instrumental to some people who are having issues in their life, and I know that Swami have sent me to them, and I spoke to them, and in those moments, it's so humbling, to witness how deep the relationship, the divine relationship that these people have with Swami. And Swami would tell them things which, they know that only Swami knows. And those kind of love is really incredible. So I've seen so many of this. People who have their devotion to God is so incredible. And Swami's love for them is so incredible. And these are divine relationships which are there. And I think all of you have it. All of you have, big or small, is there. The connection is there. Okay, I wanted to ask you on what perhaps is used for the group. What's the difference between 7D and 11D? I think 11D has less movement. Okay. The question is about 7D and 11D. Please don't go 11D now, because a lot of work still is there. Yes, it's true. 11D, there's less movement. Internally, you'll be very established. Externally, also will be very minimal. It won't be so much as now. Now, physically and mentally, we are still quite active. Yeah, we are still jumping. But 11D, no jumping at all. Don't go there first, later. 7D is enough. Thank you so much. Reinforcing the sharing and all. Thank you. Okay, now let's nurture our divine relationships. Okay, let's nurture it. Okay. First of all, don't judge it. Don't say, You know, I know that many people do that when they have something wrong going on in their life. They start scolding Swami. Swami, you are like this, you are like that. You are like this only lah. You. Okay, I understand that this emotion is just an outburst and it's temporary. And I understand that this is also part of your way of divine romance. But I think we can nurture it more. Okay, we can improve this type of relationships more. Okay, how do we do that? Listen to the divinity. Let's take divinity as guru. Why don't we do that? Yeah, this divinity is my guru, and we bow down and we behave like a student. And I think that that's one of the most effective ways and very fast ways of learning anything. Because if you are taking the role as a student, and the guru is there, the guru will not let you go. The guru is guru. He will really come and teach you. So you can become you can start learning fast. Yeah? Because you are taking on the role as a student. So the guru being it's not the student, no, actually, it's the guru's ability. If your guru is good, the student will be transformed. The student will learn. So we have the Parabrahman as the guru, the Zen master as the guru. So he's a very good guru, okay? So he will teach you. You just have to be a student, good student, okay? And in that way, you learn very fast. Your divine relationship in this kind of a manner, you learn very fast. Otherwise, we'll be always, sometimes we get stuck and we start, in that argument with Swami again. Of course, bhakti is there and you enjoy it. But I think we need to nurture it more, okay? Nurture the divine relationship, okay? So don't judge, don't jump into conclusion too fast. That's not the way to learn. Listen. Listen to the depth of the messages. It's not what we think it is. Love all, serve all. Do you know what it is? We think we know. We have to listen deeper. So be open listening. Okay? Because just like a conversation which I've been sharing with you, you can have a conversation with Swami. But why is not the answer coming? When we ask one question, Swami is not answering. He just says, Swami, don't talk to me. No. Swami is ever ready to talk to you. But we are not ever ready to listen. That's the problem. Yeah. When we talk to Swami, it's one-sided. We are just pouring it out and we don't even wait for the answer to come back. So we need to take it gradually. One question, wait for the answer. Listen. Swami sends the messages. After a while, become shorter and shorter. You ask, you come. You ask, you come. So the answers are coming very fast. If it doesn't come fast, there's a reason. You have to listen deeper. What does it mean? Why is Swami quiet? And then use your feelings. How is Swami feeling? Is Swami happy? Swami feelings? Whatever emotions that Swami is having is just for us only. It's a communication for us, so that we can relate to him in the topic. Yeah? Okay? I'm still not sure if our We are still not sure if our exact mission, how will we know? Is it clear so far that a transformation is occurring? Not sure of my exact mission, how will we know? Okay. Now, second, how to nurture these divine relationships. Before that, Sister Sandhya, you have your hands up?
Yeah, I just wanted to share my experience about this relationship, if I may. For me, the fascination and the awe of my relationship with Swami is that I've known him all my life, but I've never met him. I've never met him, and it probably will surprises me too. So, but the awe is because even without that meeting, he has created such a journey. There are so many people, I'm sure, that haven't had this close relationship with him probably. And I went through a phase where I felt terrible. I thought, is something wrong with me? I've gone through all those phases. And I just want to, share this because I want to reassure people who haven't had an opportunity to see his physical form. But he has been inside my heart and he's brought me through this wonderful journey. He took me through a lot of gurus, through a lot of spiritual processes, and ultimately he brought me to himself. And there's been a gradual change, and this has happened even without me physically seeing him. That is my surprise element, and that's my awe for him. Because look at all that he can do without that physical presence. And it can happen to everyone. And I've seen so many of the current generation and generation people that have not met Swami, and they feel bad when they hear people talk about their experiences. And I have to tell them, I'm one of them. Don't worry. If he wants you, he'll bring you closer. There is a process, and you get fascinated seeing how he slowly draws you and then pulls you closer and closer, and then brings you closer to him, and he's in your heart. One fine day, he's in your heart, and what a moment that is. What a bliss that is. You just do not know. He's really Chitta Chora. He's really the little Krishna who goes into your heart, who finds his way, steals his way into your heart, and you don't know when he becomes one with you or you become one with him. And isn't that fascinating that somebody can do sitting so far away without even having that physical contact? So for me, that is the aspect that fascinates me the most, and that gives me so much joy. And I cannot even express. There's a feeling that I cannot express. It's not even joy. I don't think there's a word in English for that. It's bhakti and joy and awe and everything put together, and I don't know what that word is, but I know the feeling. So this is something I share with the people at my center too, the younger members at my Sai center, and I tell them, you don't need to feel bad. He's there. You look for him in your heart, and he's there, and you can develop that relationship. And he forms that relationship with people that do not even believe in him, that do not believe in divinity itself. And he slowly forms that relationship. And all one needs to do is watch the journey where he's some distant star, and then he slowly inches towards you. And then one fine day, he's in your heart, and he becomes so inseparable. So that's my fascination for Swami. That's my awe for Swami. Thank you.
Sister Sandhya, you said it so well. Exact feelings. It's not easy to express, but especially my experience is people that never met Swami physically. I met a few people who are, my God, so much one with him. So that is something, they did not have any physical connection with Swami, but yet they are so connected, more than many people with all the interviews and gifts. That's what fascinates me. And that's what exactly, as an SSC teacher, I keep pumping into my kids, hey, where is he gone? He's not gone anywhere, guys. He's so much now within you instead of in Prashant Nilayam. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I think all the qualms that I had for not meeting him, there was a time many, many years ago, I was so sad. Everyone has his vision. People have interviews, people have vibhuti. There was a time when I said, Swami, I want vibhuti in my house. I know I've done all those things, but then slowly I've drawn away from it. And I think he made this for me, or he had me on this journey just to be able to reassure people, probably. That is what I'm thinking right now, that reassuring people that it's okay not to have his physical darshan. He is there everywhere. He's in the breath that you take in. He's in the vision that you see. He's in the ground that you walk on. And it's such an amazing, amazing feeling. So I just wanted to share this so people that are like me, haven't even seen him, know that he creates miracles. He does all this, and we don't need to feel lost at all. There was a time when I was really young, and my family physician was Swami's great devotee. I think I'm told that she still lives in Whitefield. She's moved there. There was a time when I used to tell my mother, I don't want to look like Sai Baba, tie my hair properly. And I used to be so, I laugh at that now, but now I crave for Swami all the time, isn't it? It's a fascinating journey. And I'm sure all of us have such fascinating journeys. All we need to do is think, reminisce. Look at all the points that you have gone through, how he has tracked your journey. He's always been there. It's just that we haven't realized it, or we have not acknowledged it. We have not paid attention. Every single journey is a fascinating journey. If only we look at it. If only we take the time to, sit back and reminisce. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Okay, thank you, sister, for highlighting that. Actually, I have seen quite a number of people who are, after Swami passed away, there is an influx of number of people, new people who are ready for Swami in the Suksma form. Suksma form means light body. Light body as in, he can be anywhere. He's in the light body. And there is also, I feel, there is going to be an influx of people again for Prema Sai, totally new people, not our current Satya Sai people. Because current Satya Sai people might not even recognize Prema Sai. So they comes in batches. Shirdi is just there. Even the devotees should not, because there was once, Shirdi, the committee themselves from Shirdi came to Puttaparthi because they have recognized that Swami is the incarnation of Shirdi. They came with drums and trumpets, and they walked right in, and Swami gave them an interview, and they asked, what to do now? Can we put your picture there in Shirdi? Swami said, no. Just leave it as it is. It has its own. So every person has their own role. Everyone has their own connection with Swami. Yeah, it can be in the formless, it can be in the Suksma form, it can be in physical form, or it can be a different physical form. So everyone have their own divine relationships. And it's customized as per your need. Highly customized. Divine relationships are very unique. There's only one, that's why. So it's highly customized as per your DNA needs. Our molecular structure, resonance. Highly customized because it matches, it fits exactly. So it will come to you as per your time and your relationship when it's going to be connected. So all of you who have this kind of relationships, you can nurture it. Yeah, you can nurture it and let it be more and more enriched with potency of love. To have a relationship with divinity and to fall in love with divinity and to feel this love of divinity itself is the most fulfilling thing ever. It fulfills everything. It fulfills our life. It fulfills all our relationships. It heals everything about us. And it gives us so much of fulfillment. It causes fulfillment in everything else you do. So it's a very empowering love, which we can really treasure and share with others. Yeah. Thank you for the love. Don't know if you haven't met. All right. All right. How do we nurture? Okay. Anyone else would like to share on how we can nurture this divine relationship?
Sairam, Brother Julius, it's Kimla here.
Saira.
Yes, especially since joining your group and learning and reinforcing my own values, I really try to see him in everyone. I think that's what he wants me to do. And when I sit for meditation or prayers, I ask him for guidance. And whatever I do, I try to do it consciously, following the 5 values, the 5 principles of watch. The journey is still long. It's not, I would not say I am there yet. But that's the way I nurture my relationship with him. Is what do I do for you? That's the way I look at it. What do I do for you, Swami? And this, I want to explain it, to elaborate a little bit more on the what do I do. I have a very good friend, my sister Jayashree also, we have the same common friend, Panchanathan. Today he has been nominated as the National Director of the National Science Foundation in Washington. And one day he gave a discourse on, do you really love? Can you really not hurt? And the whole talk was about, when I wake up in the morning, I ask Swami, what do I do with all this knowledge? He has a PhD and over other knowledge in science. So he started working with WHO. He started developing optical science for people who cannot see. And really that influenced me a lot in my daily life. He's very, very young anyway. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Yes, okay. Really nice that you are focusing on Swami as you do your work. You are actually trying to offer as much as possible of doing what Swami is encouraging you to do and to do it for him. This is beautiful. This is karma yoga. This is doing out of love for God. And in that way, it is a really selfless, pure effort. You really feel the divinity. And you feel it in your heart as you do it. You feel so much love coming out of you as you do it. And you experience the divinity inside as you do it. That's nurturing divine relationship, your divine relationship. And there is a comment in Zoom saying that by being mindful all the time, that's also nurturing the relationship. Because when you're mindful, you're conscious. You are in touch with the inner you. You are one with the inner you, the higher you. Being mindful is oneness with divinity. It's an incredible way of nurturing your divine relationship. When you close your eyes and you being mindful, you are being one with your divinity within. And this is something which is very, very good to do actually. Thanks for Rani, Sister Rani. It's a very good thing to do, to be mindful, to be one with your divinity, and to be continuously doing all your activities with mindfulness, with one with divinity. So that's incredible nurturing of divinity, your relationship with divinity. Okay. Giving time for Swami, and not just any time, but quality time. Quality time, Swami. Okay, how is quality time? Maybe you can share with us, and then maybe we can enrich this experience. How do you make quality time with Swami?
Sorry, brother.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed the beginning parts of your talk. I was away. But I understand you're talking about relationship with Swami, right? And how to nurture that relationship. And just now you're asking how to spend quality time with Swami. For me, this is very much a question that does go on in my head. It's about, I'm constantly asking, how do I intensify my relationship with Swami, my sadhana, my path, my journey to go inwards. And so often I get distracted by the external world, by things going on in society, by things going on at work, by things going on in family, and so many distractions are there. But increasingly what I'm finding is just taking a deep breath and just pausing for a moment and just remembering, just trying to go within and becoming more and more aware and more conscious of who it is that I am Swami, that Swami is there within me. And I suppose for me, it's a journey of realizing that oneness. And I suppose even having that thought of realizing that oneness puts me into a place where there are two, where there is me and where there is Swami. Which is almost an obstacle in itself. So the question of cultivating a relationship with Swami, is it cultivating a relationship with something or someone which is outside of myself? yes, I suppose, as long as I don't know who it is that I am. But increasingly, on reflection, on meditation, on going deeper within, on becoming more and more conscious, on becoming more and more aware, slowly the realization is coming, must come, that I and he actually are one. So isn't it just a question of developing a relationship with myself? Spending quality time with myself means being immersed constantly in that reality of who I really am, in spite of everything else going on around me, in spite of going to work, in spite of having relationships, in spite of running a household, in spite of having a family to deal with, in spite of dealing with going shopping or going on holiday, or in spite of doing all of these things in life. It's a question of being who I really am, and therefore, what is all this that's going on around me? Because being all of this that is going on around me is actually not who I am. It's not who I am. Well, is it who I am? I don't know. Shilpa's telling me, but that's also who you are. And she's right, that's also who I am. But let's take it one step at a time. I suppose initially I'm a witness to everything that's going on around, if I'm immersed in that awareness. And I suppose the step comes at some point when the ultimate awareness really deepens and you just feel oneness with everything. And then suddenly there is nothing outside me. And everything that happens is God. I mean, it sounds a little bit fantastical in just as a concept. It's almost beyond. It's beyond the mind to even think about. Actually, it's like sometimes when I was younger, and even now, I wonder, what if there was nothing? Right? What if there was nothing? And I've had this thought ever since I was a young boy. What if there was nothing? I look up in the stars and think, or even just sitting in my bed, and I think, what if there was nothing? What if there's no family, there's no things, there's no stuff, there's no cars, there's no houses, there's no world, there's no earth, there's no planets, there's no stars, there's no universe, there's no air, there's no space, there's no elements, there's nothing. And when you reach that when I reach that point of thinking, the mind just seems to stop because it's unable to go any further, because it doesn't exist either, because there's nothing. And if there's nothing, then what is there? Well, how do we describe that when there's nothing? Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. The point was about quality and relationships with Swami. And I think what I'm saying is, well, we are Swami, and therefore have that relationship with ourselves.
Love yourself.
Sairam.
Sairam, wow, what an incredible, you brought us all around the world. And you showed us.
I think I got a bit lost.
You were not. You found yourself. You went around and you found yourself. This is incredible, yeah? This is thought, word, and deed. As you speak, you see. You're seeing and you are moving. You're moving.
It's something we are all increasingly thinking about. Thinking is probably not the right word. Something that we're increasingly more aware about. And I think, you know, these ascension classes are phenomenal for bringing that about. The Rudram chanting in itself is phenomenal for bringing that about, because just the energy, the vibration, it's constantly with us, right? It's constantly going around the world, and every day we're engaged in this chanting as well, and listening to the chanting and stuff. And it's having some effect. Maybe not a direct, visible, tangible shift, big shift that you can notice in just one day, but over time, a subtle shift is happening. When you go back several months and you think, oh, yeah, actually, the world has moved on. For me, my perspective has moved on. The awareness has moved on.
Yes, thank you for highlighting that. And it's true, nurturing divine relationship, one of the most powerful ways of doing it is to recognize that we are one with divine internally and externally. That oneness is enough for a lot of things, the recognition of that oneness, because that recognition has removed a lot of Maya, has removed a lot of unwanted thoughts, of unnecessary thoughts. Is no longer needed once you have that. Okay, so nurturing divine relationship, one of the most powerful ones is this. Brother Henry, you have your mic unmuted.
Yeah, Julius. Yeah, tonight
Yes.
is interesting. Yeah, so I share something.
Yes.
Talk about divinity. I remember Swami always say, "Die your mind." Die your mind. That means you don't have the mind. You go deep into your heart. You feel. Normally, I feel the best is when midnight I wake up, like 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It's an automatic alarm for me. Sometimes it's the time I really can get in touch with my divinity. So that's the best time. Later on, like normal, after breakfast or what, go out, there's a mind working already. Then I feel the fantastic of the mind, doing what, doing that. So at the MCO this period, I really attached to the mind and I lost my divinity. That means I'm busy in some program and I didn't join your program too until recently, and then it get connect again, this divinity. I feel, wow, this is really touched in the heart, in the silence, and not the mind murmuring. And yes, you know who you are, who I am, and then you know Swami is inside of you. Saram.
So, thank you for sharing that. Yes, initially, you know, we get glimpses of divinity, experiences, and it becomes more and more, and sometimes becomes less, and sometimes it becomes more. These are all just experiences, so that we know that there are higher possibilities. We have higher potentials. So we keep striving. After a while, we just want to reach. You know, we know that there's something we can achieve. Yeah. So this divine relationship is really something which inspires us to move, and actually guides. There's a guidance energy there which kind of push us to want to improve and fine tune and, you know, transform and transmute and ascend. Yeah, so incredible. Brother Saha, you had your hands up earlier. I saw it. Yes, when you catch yourself so happy and just smiling for no reason given by the external material world, you're experiencing God. Beautiful. Brother Saha. Okay, it's coming to the end of our session. I pray that all of us as Monad can experience this divine relationship, divine romance, more and more every day, every moment, every second. And when I say divinity, it's formless. Divinity is formless. For many of us, it came as Satya Sai Baba. There are those who come as Krishna, or those who come as Jesus, or those who come as your lover. So these are, just need to recognize the divinity, to discover, to know what is the divinity within. That divinity is full of light and unconditional love, full of bliss, Satchit Ananda, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. That's divinity. Okay, thank you so much for your time. We will meet again. Enjoy your practices. Om Sai Ram.
Sai
Sai
Ram.
Ram. Thank you, brother. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Brother Children, if you could make me.
Thank you.
Saram sister, I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Sisters, brothers, welcome to Adi Parashakti. We will be starting with the video as soon as possible. Thank you.
Got it, Saram.